John, yeah. How long have you been playing for now?
Well, I've been making records since 1976, and I got my first deal. I was with Main Man, and, you know, I was from Indiana, and I went to New York, and I lucked out. You know, most kids from Indiana, the odds are 1,000,000 to 1, and I just got lucky. And, but I've been playing guitar since about 14, but still can't play that very well.
So you must have made quite a few albums now, haven't you?
I've made, this will be the third album that's come out in the United States, but I've made, I think, 5 albums. There was, the first album was called John Cougar, Chestnut Street Incident. Then I went to England and made then I made another album called The Kid Inside that never came out. That's still on the shelf. Then I went to Europe and made an album called A Biography, and then the John Cougar record, and then Nothing Matters, and then this one, The American Fool.
Now, Nothing Matters did very well, didn't it?
Well, it did pretty good for me, you know. I mean, considering the first album I made sold 7,000 copies, you know, it did a lot better than that.
Yeah, it stayed on the charts a long time, didn't it?
A year, which was, you know, pretty good.
Yeah. And was that recorded in Miami?
No, that record was done in Los Angeles. You know, I said I'd never record in Los Angeles, but I ended up doing that one in L.A.
Right. Because I know your last album was recorded in Miami, wasn't it?
The John Cougar album was done in Miami. I worked with a couple guys named Ron and Howard Albert, and I wanted to go somewhere where, you know, I don't really like being caught up in the whole Hollywood rock and roll scene. I don't really want to be a part of all that, so... you know, a place where's more out of the way than Miami, right?
Sure. Now, that theme of not being mixed up in the Hollywood scene runs through your life, doesn't it? Because you're still in Bloomington, as we are here now on location.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've been here after all these years, even with the success you've had with the last album.
Well, you know, I've got a lot of friends that, you know, make records and stuff like that, and I see them change, and, you know, they were like normal people. They get a couple hit records underneath their belt, and they think, hey, you know, I'm a pretty cool person now. You know, and they start believing the things that they read, and they start acting out the image they have on stage. And, you know, you start out in life, and this is your direction, and slowly but surely you get off the driven path, and before long you're way out here, and you don't even know it. You know, you think, well, I haven't changed a bit, but you know, here's where you started, and here's where you're ending up. You know, and it's like, I don't know, it's hard for me to talk to people I know that I knew when they first started, and now that they're big successes or semi-successful, it's kind of weird, you know, and I'm not really interested in it. You know, if you're in rock and roll because you think it's cool, or because you want people to wait on you, or you like the limousines, I don't really think that's the right reason to be in the business. You know, hell, you can sell cocaine and make more money and do all that.
Sure, right. But you seem to manage to find a pool of talent locally, too. All your bands from around here, aren't they?
Oh, there's millions of guys. You can go in any state in the Union and find the best, as good of players as New York and Los Angeles. What I find is that I don't want to take anything away from the session people, because, you know, they're professional. You give them a part, they play it. But I like the idea of having a guy that is, like, ready to try real hard, you know, and to him, you know, my career is his career. But, you know, I don't like just paying people to come in and do a job that work for me all year round. You know, well, okay, give me my money and I'll play the part. See you, John. You know, I like a little bit more commitment and a little bit more unity, a more band situation.
Right. Now, you've got your new album. You've chosen a single off that, Hurt So Good.
Right.
Yeah? And you've got a promotion tour scheduled for the next month.
The record, this record took almost 2 years to make. And I thought it was because I wanted to do the album right, but I found out it was because I was lazy.
Right.
You know, I just would write a few songs, go in and record them, go home, listen to those, go back, write a few songs, record them. And it, over a period of write and rehearse, because it's one thing to write a good song on acoustic guitar or piano, but a whole different thing to have like 8 or 9 guys playing it with you, because it changes the feel. I mean, if the drummer's going dun 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 and the bass player's doing something not with him, well, then it's wrong. So it's got to be right, and it takes a long time to figure out when the kick drum is hitting and when the bass guitar should be hitting, so it all works together.
A lot of people often see in you an angry man, some sort of comparison with a James Dean.
Well, you know, yeah, I always thought that was a little bit funny, because you know me.
Yeah.
But I'm not really as serious as people think I am. You know, I'm not as serious about my music. I mean, I'm serious about it, but it's not like I'm not like Elvis Costello, for an example, anything like that. Or I think that that's just something that's been hung on me from the very first record. The very first record I ever made, I got that, and it's just lingered on ever since. But really, that's not really true.
Yeah. Do you always see yourself as living in Bloomington and being around here?
Well, I'll always maintain some kind of space in Bloomington. You know, I'll always have a house there. The last year or so, I've been around Bloomington a lot because I've been writing and doing this record. But when we go on the road and, you know, go to Europe, go here, do this, do that, I'm never there. So it's always a great place to come back to. You can always come back and be yourself, you know, because my family's here. And I used to think, you know, well, families don't work too good. They're not such a great idea. But now that I'm getting a little bit older, I find that, you know, if you don't have your roots, if you can't come back to something where people don't expect you to be anything, and you can only just be yourself, well, then you kind of get lost. I mean, I wouldn't know what to do if I got off the road and had to go to Los Angeles and live and put up with the pretentiousness that goes on in that town. You know, or New York is not as bad as Los Angeles, but Los Angeles, like, really, I just, it's hard for me to deal. I mean, it's hard for me to be there 2 months straight to make a record because I just can't put up with all the, I'm not made to do that.
Right. And what plans do you have for touring?
Well, there's been a few things talked about, you know, nothing I can really talk about. Nothing is for sure, you know, but we probably do about, you know, 4 or 5 months this year in the United States. I hope to. But the economy's so bad, you know, that if you can't go out and make money, or at least go out and break even, it's really stupid to even go out on the road nowadays. Because I'm not really convinced anymore that playing out sells records. I think it lends to your credibility. But I mean, basically what we're talking about is selling records. That's why you go out and play. And I not know in this day and age of depression if it really does do that. Because your biggest stars, you know, go out on the road and they lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
Where 5 years ago they'd go out and make a lot of money. Like the only people I know that are making money are the Rolling Stones. You know, everybody else is like losing hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right. Tell us a little about the 3 songs of the new album. And in fact, we're here right on location doing a promotion film for one of them right now.
Right.
Hurt So Good.
Well, Hurt So Good is, you know, a lot of people ask me, you know, what are your, you know, they try to take songs so seriously, you know, like there's some kind of meaning. I think that all happened in the early 60s and kind of carried on into the 70s. I can remember buying records and never having lyric sheets in them. And then all of a sudden it became like the thing to do. And it's like, a lot of these lyrics I find really aren't worth reading. You know, I mean, like, what'd you even put that in for, right? So I think I've always traditionally put lyric sheets in my records, but I'm not going to anymore. But I don't think, really, like, Hurt So Good is just a fun song. Like, there's a lyric that says, maybe we can walk around all day long. I mean, that's what people do for excitement. What are we going to do today? Whether they drive around or they walk around. And I think that's the important thing about a song is that it's got to be real simple. A real simple topic. And that's the beauty of a song, but it's also what makes a song hard to do. I mean, to write about buildings and stuff like that is one thing, and I guess some people consider it art, but I think it's more important to write things that everybody can say, hey, that's what I do. This song is about me. At least that's the songs I like.
Sure, and about you, Jack and Diane is a great vehicle for your kind of lifestyle. It's very simple, isn't it? Pure Americana.
Jack and Diane could be about any million kids in the United States. I mean, in the Midwest or the heartland of the country, I mean, this song is about just that. I mean, it's 2 American kids doing the best that they can. That's a lyric out of the song. And, you know, people's lives, I mean, everybody is the same. They think the world or the sun rises and sets in their ass, almost, you know. I mean, and that's what everybody thinks that. They think all this is put there for me. And when you think about all the millions of people there are that think that, it kind of really, you got to think that, or else your life just becomes nothing. I mean, there's no reason to live if you don't think that the world was put here for you. And it was.
Good, and Hand to Hold On To. Hand
to Hold On To is just a little pop song, you know, and it's, the lyrics are meant to take, you're supposed to take the lyrics with a grain of salt, you know. You know, you can laugh and joke and make fun of your friends, spin in the middle when trouble begins, take it nice and easy and always pretend that you're cool, so cool, you know. And it's another song that's very simple about a lot of different type people that you come in contact with. And the one thing that I found that everybody's got in common is sex. well, I didn't want to say everybody needs some sex to have every night, you know, so everyone needs a hand to hold on to. I mean, I don't care if you got a lot of money, if you're poor, if you're whatever you are, black, white, red, green, you know. That's one thing that everybody has in common is the sexual loving relationship, and it's always a major part of somebody's life. So that's basically what that song's about.
Great. Well, cut it on now. We better keep going here then.
Okay, I'm gonna lay down.
Great. Thanks.